The fact that I got to meet Snoop was awesome. He looked for me. But every now and then I go out and I wanna meet people. I wanna see cool things. And for example, comedy. I'm a huge fan of comedy, not just performing it, but I love going to shows. I go to a comedy show every now and then alone. Now, I don't know if that sounds weird to you guys, but for me to do anything nowadays by myself, it's my crew, all the people that work for me, they freak out when I go places because they're always concerned for my safety. You know, what if someone tries to kidnap you? Well, they're gonna earn it. I got into a fight with some of my team members and I said, you know what, I'm going out. I bought myself a ticket and I went to go watch Chris Rock one night in concert. Now, I says, you know what? Maybe I can make my way backstage and I don't know, if I get lucky, maybe I'll say hi to him. I've always wanted to meet him. So I go to the side of the stage and I run into security and I said, hey. He looked at me and said, Fluffy! And when he did that, I said, hey, listen, I forgot my keys. I'll be right back. And the guy's like, yeah, keep going. Get your keys, get your keys, get your keys. I'm like, oh my God, that shit worked. Just like that, I snuck backstage at a Chris Rock concert. Once I was behind the curtain, I was in my element. I knew where everything was. I knew where the food was. I knew where the dressing rooms were, where the bathrooms were. I'm walking around with a soda. People are coming up to me. You know, we didn't know you were gonna be here. I got a call last minute. Looking for my keys. I says, you know what? I got this far. I'm gonna push it. I wanna meet him. I've always wanted to meet Chris Rock. It was not hard. Once I was back there, I just had to go to the dressing rooms. All I had to do was read the name on the door. I'm standing there in front of the door and I'm hyperventilating, just. The door opens up and there's this man in there, this bodyguard who's just massive. I'm a big guy, but damn, dude was huge. As soon as he opened the door, just. Welcome to Jurassic. Big! Grandote! And I'm standing there and I'm like, hi. And he's like, can I help you? Yes, my name is Gabriel. I'm a comedian. And I wanted to see if I could say hi to Chris Rock, if that's possible. You say you're a comedian? Yes. Well, then you understand Chris is going over his material right now. He really ain't trying to talk to nobody. So I'll tell you what, player, if you want to come by after the show, you're more than welcome to. But right now, it's not a good time. Chris Rock is a busy man. Can I wave? Excuse me? Can I wave? What you mean? Can I wave at Chris? I don't have to come in. Can I wave? Chris Rock is in the room. He can hear the stupid conversation that's taking place. I know this because I can hear Chris Rock in the background. What's going on? Who's at the door? Move out the way. Yo, Chris, I got this, man. I got this. Move! All right. And the guy stands to the side, and now I'm looking at Chris Rock, and he recognized me, and it freaked me out. Oh, yeah, it freaked me out. He's like, ah, shit! Look who it is. Look who it is. It's the king of the Mexicans. Chris Rock called me the king of the Mexicans. For the rest of the show, everyone referred to me as El Chapo. I was celebrating the fact that I got away with that for so long. For so long. I snuck backstage at Chris Rock. I snuck backstage. Until karma showed up one day in the form of the most extreme fan I have ever had in 20 years of me being a comedian. I had someone who not only made it backstage, this person paid to get into my dressing room. Okay? Yeah, he didn't pay me, by the way. He didn't pay me. I'm an honest hoe. Okay? I made no money that day, all right? Yeah, if I would have gotten paid, you wouldn't be hearing this story. Here's the thing. I walk into my dressing room from the bathroom. I just finished showering up and I'm in a towel. I walk into the room, come to find out later that this man was a very wealthy businessman in the community, okay? And when I walked into the room, he's wearing a very, very nice suit. So when I saw the suit, I didn't give it a second thought because he looked professional. I thought maybe he was the general manager of the building, one of the concert promoters. He could have been someone's agent. So when I walked in the room in my towel, like, can I help you? He looks at me, and it was the most uncomfortable conversation I have ever had. He looks at me and says, listen. I am not here to waste any of your time. Fluffy, I am prepared to take care of you. I will give you a new Lexus and an allowance that's more than what you make as a comedian. Leave with me. I was never more disgusted and offended at the fact that I was not gay. Because finally, somebody wants to take care of me. Do you know how many people I take care of? No one's ever offered me a Lexus, and they should. I felt horrible saying no to this guy. I still think about it. I still have the number. Houston, I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't know how this is gonna go over, but I'm gonna say it. I would be an amazing gay partner. I would. 1 year ago, this city was flipped upside down by a hurricane. Un cabrón named Harvey. And they said that this city would never be the same. I think it's beautiful that a year later, we're all here celebrating together the fact that this city is resilient. And you guys persevered. Houston strong, baby. Yeah, that's serious. In all sincerity, guys, I'm not trying to kiss your ass. I already got your money. Friggin' Houston, I love this town. I've been coming here for 20 years. 20 years. Started off performing at a comedy club called The Laugh Stop. And then, of course, we jumped over to the Improv, and then I performed everywhere. I even did a one-nighter in Tomball. That's a long story for the people at home. I won't even get into that. I want to give you guys a heads up and let you know now that tonight I feel extra comfortable. You're gonna notice that you might hear a little bit more Spanish than you normally would. And you can't do that just anywhere, but you can do that in Houston. Now, to everyone watching at home who's freaking out, like, oh my God, I didn't sign up for this. If I say something in Spanish, my promise is to translate immediately so that everyone enjoys the show, okay? Because I know the second I said Spanish, people are freaking out, you know? All the people that drove in from the Woodlands are like, hey. And for everyone at home, what does he mean by that? The people from the Woodlands, you know.
I know he is not referring to us. The nerve of him. He needs to go back where he came from, over by Airline Road. That's right. I know where you keep your brown people. This is awesome. This always pisses off Netflix. They're like, Gabriel, we really wish you would just do a show that's general, that everybody understands. Why do you have to make your show so personal? Only people in that city are going to get it. Well, when you have an arena full of people, you want them to get it. You want that extra personal, special touch. I don't care what they say. I already got the check. So let me give you a heads up as to what has happened since the last time I did a special. My son Frankie is now 19 years old. 19 years old, high school graduate. He has all his shots, ladies. People tell me all the time, why do you talk about your son so much? Because he won't leave. Does he like it when you talk about him? I said, no, he hates it. Well, why do you do it? Because he won't leave. I'll tell you what he likes to do right now. He likes to sit around the house and watch videos of other kids playing video games. See, some of you are clapping. I didn't know that was an actual thing. I asked him, what are you doing? I'm watching other kids playing video games. I said, that's really? Why? Well, they're professionals. I'm like, why would you watch something that you could be doing? Because they're professionals. That's dumb. Really, Dad? Every Sunday, I see you watching football. How come you don't play? I didn't even argue. I just cut off the internet. My son's problem right now is that he has, according to him, too many options. Okay, that's his problem. I'm like, poor guy. I have so many options, Dad. I don't know what to do. Write them down. Put them on a wheel. Freaking. Today, plumber. Something. The problem is we go places, people find out he is my son, and then they offer him opportunities. He doesn't understand that that's not how the real world works. I know about struggling and clawing and fighting for the opportunity to do something. He doesn't get it yet. And that's my fault. For example, I take him and his mom out to dinner, okay? I took them both to Red Lobster. Now, Houston, me personally, I love Red Lobster, okay? And not even for the seafood. I'm talking about the biscuits. Oh, yeah. So we're sitting there and we're having a conversation with our son about life, opportunity, what does he want to do with himself? And as we're talking to him, the manager from Red Lobster walks over to our table. And he's being really cool, right? He's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. He looks at my son. Is this the infamous Frankie? I said, why, yes, it is. He just graduated. Congratulations. And he's looking for a job. The manager goes, oh, say no more. And he gives my son a business card. And then he starts to say, listen, Frankie, this is all you have to do. Just go online and fill out the application. Once it's registered, call me personally, and I'll see to it that you get an interview. The only position we have available right now is for a host, but there's plenty of room for opportunity here at Red Lobster. Besides, you got one hell of a reference. And then he walked away, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get free biscuits. My son looks at me and says, I don't want to work at Red Lobster. I said, Frankie, no one is making you work anywhere. This is just another opportunity that you're wasting. Okay, no Red Lobster. What's your plan? Oh, I don't know. I got frustrated, so I raised my voice. Well, you better start thinking.
His mom didn't like that. Don't talk to him like that. I said, look, biscuit blocker. See, up to this point, we have agreed on how we raise our son. But in this situation, she's trying to protect him from the world. I'm trying to prepare him for the world. If he cannot handle me raising my voice to get his attention, to see the bigger picture, he's not ready for a world that doesn't care about his feelings. So I say, you know what? I gotta have a one-on-one with him. I gotta have a one-on-one without... So I take him out to the movies. We get in the car, we take off. Little 20-minute drive, okay? As we're driving, I figure I'll have a little one-on-one with him. Maybe this way it doesn't feel like a talk. I thought he understood what I was trying to say. It's late, we're leaving the movies. We're pulling out of the parking structure, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a cop car. And I made a sound. I was like, ugh. And Frankie goes, what is it, Dad? I said, there's a cop at the light. What are you worried about? He's gonna stop us. How do you know? Watch. I made that left turn. Frankie's losing it. It's happening! I said, relax. I pull over. Cop pulls up from behind. Immediately. Driver, windows down. Oh. Driver, hands out the window.
Serious?
Both of them. I can't, I'm fat! He gets to the window, and he's got the flashlight, and he shines the light right in my face. He's like, license? Yeah. Here. He takes the license, and then, of course, do you know why I stopped you? Officer, no, I don't, but I'm sure you're about to tell me. You don't have a front plate on your car. I said, officer, you're absolutely right. I do not have a front plate on my car, but my name is actually on the front of the car. Excuse me, my name is on the front of the car. I own a 2012 Ford Flex, and the Ford Flex has the actual word flex written on the hood. I have a friend who does custom automotive work, and he took all the letters off the car except for the letter F, and he made letters so that it spells fluffy on the hood. Okay? Yeah. It sounds impressive. You can do it too for like $23. It's not that bad. They're like refrigerator magnets. You can even move them. Like one day a letter flew off and it said foofy. Look at me. Que pendejo. I know, stupid, right? So the officer walks around to the front of the car and he takes his flashlight and he shines the light right on the hood. And he does this. On a more happier note, I did manage to stay busy during the pandemic. I did a movie from my living room. Yeah, and it wasn't even on Pornhub. The movie already came out in theaters. It's called Space Jam. It's the movie with LeBron. Los Angeles, you are looking at the new voice of Speedy Gonzales. Thank you. I found it ironic that they hired the slowest Mexican to play the fastest. You know? And 2 weeks after I get this part, I come to find out that they're trying to cancel Speedy Gonzales. I'm sure some of you heard that they came after two cartoons. They came after Pepe Le Pew and Speedy. Now, Pepe, I understand. He's a little touchy. You know, but he disguises it with the mosheri, mosheri, yeah. But Speedy Gonzales, what's his crime? He's Mexican and he's fast. That is not a crime. In Montebello, that's called job security. So I said, I cannot let them hurt Speedy. You know, I can't let them cancel him. So I came to his defense. Plus, it was my only job.
I went to the only place I felt I could go to protect him. I went on Twitter. And Twitter's a scary place. It is. You only go there to fight, to get into it, to prove a point. And so a friend of mine said, if you want to get some attention, use a hashtag. And so I did. And I wrote a tweet that said, hey, hashtag cancel culture. My name is Gabriel Iglesias, and I'm the new voice of Speedy Gonzales. You cannot cancel or catch me. And I posted it. I had no idea that when you go on Twitter looking for problems, you will find them. Oh yeah, every major news outlet picked up my tweet and used it in a story about cancel culture. ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. If I would have known that, I would have used spell check. Because my family called. Eres pendejo, qué chingados, ¿qué te pasa? No escribe bien. Oh my God. Even Fox News did a story with my tweet. Fox News. You know how I know? My bus driver Dave called me. Oh, he was thrilled. He was like, Fluffy, God damn it, I've never been prouder. You made it, baby. You're on Fox News. I said, Dave, shut up. You're stupid. He's like, America. Even Warner Brothers Pictures reached out to say thank you. And before I know it, I was on a Zoom call. And I know a lot of us had to get used to Zoom. And it's kind of convenient, right? All they see is this. So to entertain myself, every time I took a Zoom call, I was full Winnie the Pooh. And if you're not laughing right now, you better ask someone who is, because there is no coming back from full Winnie the Pooh. I was leaving baby powder all over the house. It looked like an episode of Narcos. So I get on the Zoom call with the director, writer, and producer of Space Jam. And they're being super nice, super supportive, super cool. They're like, Gabriel, thank you so much for lending your voice talents to our film. We really, really appreciate you being part of this. If you have any questions or concerns, let us know. So, well, thank you. We have a question for you. I said, okay. How do you feel about the voice of Speedy Gonzales? I said, well, what do you mean? Well, you know, some people find him to be a little stereotypical. What are your thoughts? I said, well, you have not met my family. I cannot speak for all brown people, but I can tell you that me personally, in my house growing up, Speedy Gonzales was not viewed in a negative way. As a matter of fact, he was the only form of representation we had growing up. It was him and the little bumblebee on The Simpsons. Gabriel, we were thinking that perhaps you would like to lend your real speaking voice to the character, maybe modernize him a little, bring him up to speed. I said, well, with all due respect, I appreciate the fact that you would give me the power to change the sound of such an iconic character. But at the end of the day, when people see the movie, I don't want them to think of me. I want them to think of Speedy Gonzales. So I said, please keep his voice original. And then he asked the question, well, do you think you can do the voice? How did I get the part? Now remember, I never auditioned for Speedy Gonzales. They just called me, and I assumed that they knew that I did voices for a living and that I could pull this off. So I says, what made you choose me if you didn't know whether or not I could do the... Oh. You needed a big brown shield in case shit happened, huh? And then all three people on the phone call were like... I said, well, don't worry, because with me, you get a twofer. You get an actual Mexican, and you get someone that can nail the voice. So, oh yeah. So before I know it, this sound person, the guy who does recordings over at Warner Brothers, gets on the call. The only thing I know about this guy is that he's loud. Okay, he gets on the call, he's like, Gabriel Iglesias, how are you? Wow. How's it going? My name is Steven. I'm the sound coordinator here at Warner Brothers Pictures. So listen, buddy, here's what's going to happen. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record. And as soon as I hit record, I just need for you to start talking like Speedy Gonzales. We're going to get the flow, the tempo, the timing. And as soon as we got it dialed in, we're going to make a movie. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, this is Gabriel Iglesias for Space Jam, A New Legacy. Speedy Gonzales, take one. Gabriel, mic check, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sounds good. All right, here we go. And go. All right, here we go.
Hola amigos, I am Speedy Gonzales de Pases Mouse en all México. ¡Arriba! ¡Epa, pándale!
The director, writer, and producer, all three were like, that was perfect. I said, I know, I've been Mexican a long time. And I said, and don't just think that just because I'm Mexican, I can only play the Mexican character. I said, I do voices for a living. If given the opportunity, I could voice the entire film all by myself. I could. Watch. Marvin the Martian.
Oh my modulator.
Yosemite Sam.
Ah, hike that rabbit.
Bugs Bunny.
What's up, Doc?
I said, you can fire all the other voice actors right now. I will do the whole movie for half plus medical insurance.
And by the way, I know I keep pointing at people in the front right here. If you're here tonight with someone you have no business being here with, and you see a camera coming by, just be like, hey, victory! They're very respectful. They'll go to the next person. Don't even worry about that. Before I forget, you guys, I would like to thank the Allstate Arena for providing some amazing accommodations backstage. Let me tell you right now, I love my dressing room for the simple fact that it has basic things that I really like light switches. A lot of these arenas are now starting to go green, and so they're taking away the light switches and they're replacing them with sensors. Sensors are cool when they work. You know what I mean? Like when you're 10 feet away and it senses you and the whole room just... What I don't like is that when they're messed up, then you have to walk into a dark-ass room and establish your presence. But then you stand still for 4 seconds. No. Shit! In addition, backstage, my sink has knobs on it. I have control of the temperature and the pressure of the water, which in the Chicago area I believe is very important, especially in the winter. Oh man, you guys are no joke in the winter. You need warm water when you wash your hands. You can't rely on a sensor that gives you nothing but cold water, because you wash your hands with cold water, your hands get all cryptic. Then you go outside and people are making fun of you. Look at Thriller. But my dressing room, you guys, has a sink that has hot and cold. You can control the water. You can control the temperature. You can control the pressure. I hate it when they take that away from us and they replace it with that little sensor. So now, in addition to being a comedian, now I gotta be a magician. I'm not a magician, but if you watch me wash my hands, that's what I look like, you know, just... Nothing. Then you walk away. Shh. I feel like there's someone behind the mirror messing with me, like, watch this. Some places stop there. Some places keep going. I like a lot of soap when I wash my hands. I like a good soap dispenser. I like the, the pump. I hate it when they take that away from us and then they replace it with that little spout that goes next to the faucet. You stick your hand under it and it gives you that little booger of soap. You know what I mean? That little moco, you put it under. You know you need more, so you pull it out and then you go back in, but the sensor's like, no, it's still you. Now you gotta trick it, right? Yeah. Once you get enough soap on your hands, now you gotta try to wash it off. But you can't wash it off then and there because the timer for the water has timed out. So now you have to back up and now you have to put on a second performance. Now it's a race to get that soap off your hands. Once you get the soap off your hands, now you gotta try to dry your hands. Some places still give you a towel, some places give you paper towels. Some take the paper towels and they put them in a box on the wall with another sensor. And there you are. 3 inches of paper. 3 inches, Chicago. You can't do anything with 3 inches. Ask any woman, they'll tell you. Or a guy, I'm equal opportunity. I need control of the paper. I need the crank. Some places stop there, some places keep going. Have you ever walked into the bathroom stall, closed the door, locked it, turned around, looked at the toilet, and seen a blinking red light on the wall? And you're like, really? Here too? All you're trying to do is get the tissue paper off the wall for the toilet seat. You take one step. I haven't even done anything. You grab the paper. You turn around and you put it on like a cape. And you let it slide down your back while you slowly try to time it just right. And just as you're about to sit down, somebody always walks into the bathroom and distracts you. Huh? But it's too late. Your knees are bent. And unless you do CrossFit, you're not coming back from that one. Then your bare ass touches the seat. And you're like, ah! And just when you think it can't get any worse, and all this water splashing up, hitting you right in the ass. And then the water goes down the drain and it creates that air vortex that goes right between your legs. So now you have a tsunami in the back. You have a tornado in the front. And who's the victim? Pikachu. And he's holding on for dear life. You haven't even made magic yet and you've already been violated by plumbing. Now you do what you need to do. You finish. Now it's time for cleanup, time for maintenance. So you reach over for the toilet paper. And the problem with using the restroom nowadays is that most venues, including this one, instead of putting a human-size toilet paper roll inside of the human-size toilet paper roll dispenser, they take their ass to Costco or Sam's Club or one of these places where you buy in bulk, and they buy that giant gorilla roll of toilet paper. And then they come back here and they force it into that little tiny compartment. And then they close the door on it. So now this giant wheel is locked in place. You can't even spin it. You're just... You can't even find where it starts because they glue it. Out of desperation, you got to pull out your car keys and cut into the side of it like a bag of cocaine on Narcos. Then you get the paper. You try to wipe. Chicago, a year from now, I am predicting that they're going to take 100% control of the restroom. You're going to be sitting there and you're going to think of me because you're going to see it. You're going to look over to get the toilet paper and there's going to be a blinking red light on it. And you're going to be like, oh my God, Fluffy called it. And what are you going to have to do? One sheet. You're going to get frustrated and just sit on it. Come on, you guys. You know?
Yeah. She was able to make it. Okay. Ricky, can you get the book? And apparently, oh, so we got a. God.